One of the most underrated seasons of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends is Season 11. This season had a very strong start. It kinda fell off, but those first couple episodes were really good. See Gordon the Engineer, Thomas and the Storyteller, Emily's Rubbish, Hector the Frickin' Horrid, and the topic of this video, Dream On. Dream On is a story I can relate to, and I thought it'd be the perfect video for my birthday. Yep, today's my birthday, so yep, also another reason to make this video was to prove the Ginger Engine wrong. Heh. I will tag you in the description, hopefully he sees this. Anyhow, roll the intro. The story starts with Spencer coming to the island of Sodor. The narrator essentially plays with him, and Spencer is known as this rather boastful engine. Because of this, the engines just don't really like him. Thomas is tasked to help Spencer shunt his coaches away. Spencer orders him to do it faster, and Thomas is being a decent person, wait, dude. And then Spencer, the absolute jerk he is, he's like, I'm fast, shiny, and stronger than you, Thomas. You're just a little tank engine. And again, when Thomas comes back to the sheds that night, he basically reiterates the same thing. This is when Thomas decides he'll be faster, shinier, and stronger than Spencer. This is where the three strikes come in, and I think it's used very well here. When he was speeding down the main line, he decided he was going to go as fast as he could. As he passes the junction, Emily calls to him, saying that he won't be able to make it past the bend at that speed. Thomas slams on his brakes, and Michael Brandon makes one of the greatest sounds known to mankind. Whoa! And he decides he can still be shinier and stronger than Spencer. Later that day, Thomas decided he'd get the shiniest polish ever. Then Toby arrived and said, "Oh, you look good, but you're working at the quarry."
Damn, not here!
Then he gets glazed by Mavis a little bit, which is nice, but obviously he gets dirty at the quarry. Soon he leaves with his train and gets to Gordon's Hill. This is where Thomas remembers he can still be stronger than Spencer. After failing on Gordon's Hill, he accepted he wasn't better than Spencer. The next day, he just accepted himself for who he is. Then, when he was asked to get Spencer's coaches due to a change of plans in the Duke's part, he got them to Spencer, but his fire wouldn't start up. With that, Thomas was given the coat of arms and delivered the Duke and Duchess to the airport. They gave Thomas some praise and they left. Thomas learned here it's okay not to be as fast, strong, or shiny as Spencer, because he has his own strength, being reliable. The moral of the story is basically to pay attention to your own strengths rather than let someone else's get to your head. This story follows Thomas getting annoyed at Spencer and aiming to take him down a peg. After failing 3 separate times, he learns to accept himself and is soon able to prove himself by taking the Duke and Duchess to the airport after Spencer broke down. I personally can relate to this moral. I honestly wish I saw this as a child. The moral is that it's very simple, but I think the way Thomas handles it, it shows how much he's grown as a character. Instead of every other kid show, every other show in general, this type of plot usually works the character is feeling down, but immediately gets the chance to prove himself. In this episode, Thomas is, from the start, he's nah, I win. And he, instead of just feeling down and then proving himself, he fails, and fails. But he understood he was wrong and got over it in a day. Compares this to Thomas in The Great Race. It's a rather okay special, but the portrayal of Thomas is so different. In the special, Thomas sings about how he wishes he could be different. And in this episode, Thomas challenges himself to do better, which is definitely an amazing trait for any person to have. It's The Great Race. Yeah, again, The Great Race is fine and all, but this characterization is something I prefer more. Instead of the looking down upon yourself, I mentioned earlier thing, it's more about, I'm gonna show this dude I'm better than him. And I think that's honestly really inspiring. I know this part doesn't relate to the moral, but the Thomas and Spencer dynamic is at its best here. The fact is, Thomas isn't faster than Spencer. Take that here off the rails. Why did this one episode from season 11 absolutely solo 2 1-hour Thomas films? Granted, I still like Hero of the Rails, so it gets a pass, but back to the moral, I feel Thomas a lot in this episode. If someone tried to tell me I'm essentially worthless compared to them, I would definitely act like Thomas and try to do better than them. I'm not putting them in their place, but I would challenge myself to be more like Thomas, like challenge myself to do better. Granted, I'd also probably fail, but I'd find my way. Just like Thomas. Dream On is one of my favorite episodes from not only season 11, but the whole damn show. It's my second favorite from the hit era, just besides Hector the Horrid. Coincidentally, another season 11 episode. Guess which hit era season's my favorite. Anyway, the episode to me is like a 9.5 out of 10. Just because I think if this had Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell's score, it would have just been peak fiction. Like, imagine that one scene on the hill, but with the Trouble with Mud soundtrack.
I may not be faster or shinier than Spencer, tooted Thomas, but I can still be stronger. The hill got steeper and steeper, and the stone felt heavier and heavier. Thomas's wheels started to spin. "Oh no!" cried Thomas. Stones tipped out of the freight cars. He slid all the way to the bottom. Thomas wasn't strong enough after all. Thomas felt very, very silly.
So yeah, that's why I love Dream On, and hopefully I proved how great of an episode this is to you guys. Anyhow, I'll see you next time. Until Dream On.